I've just returned from Sweden, where something happened that I never would have imagined in such a wonderful country. My crew and I were attacked. We had things thrown at us, we were punched and kicked, and my cameraman was run over. Unfortunately, Sweden has become a victim of its own humanity. By opening its doors and welcoming hundreds of thousands of refugees and asylum seekers from the world's war zones and trouble spots, the country is experiencing serious security issues. And it's not alone. The migrant crisis has now become so huge, many Western European nations are closing their borders. But that hasn't stopped the refugees coming in their desperate millions.
No, come on. No, wait. Hold on.
It is the journey of shattered dreams.
Okay.
The greatest human migration in recent history. Now stopped dead in its tracks.
You could feel the hatred in their eyes, like, I'm gonna be waiting for you. If you do one move, like, you're dead or something.
And as the welcome runs out,
Too many people and too many people of the wrong kind.
anger boils over.
Stop it.
It's early morning on the Greek island of Lesbos. And Ricardo Matteo and his team are preparing to search for the boatloads of refugees who will have already embarked on their journey from Turkey. A perilous crossing that has so far claimed 4,000 lives. You've been doing this for a while now.
Yes,
Has it surprised you, the number of people who keep coming?
yes, every day. When the weather is good, we have many people coming. We didn't expect so much people.
Ricardo and his crew are Portuguese maritime police, helping Greece in the face of an overwhelming refugee crisis. And we're barely out of the harbour when we see the human face of that crisis. A small boat with, it seems, 2 or 3 people aboard, actually concealing more than 35 men, women and children.
Okay, come on. This girl with this baby, come on. Yes. Hey, hold on. You have to hold on. Don't let go. Hold on. Hold. Two hands.
The Portuguese crew may sound tough, but this is about saving lives.
Hold on. Come here. Hold the baby. Sit there.
This is the moment they've longed for. Yet some are in shock, others are simply dazed or ill.
So they've gone from one boat to another. That one took them from hell. This one's taking them to what they hope will be a new life. I can't say that that's going to happen now.
They are, for now, the lucky ones.
It's a pleasure.
It started with this picture. The body of a little boy, Alan Kurdi, washed up on a Turkish beach. The world suddenly opened its eyes to the plight of Syria's refugees. Europe threw open its doors. And a 23-year-old Syrian named Marwan joined a seemingly endless river of humanity.
I saw 10,000 people walking behind me. 10,000 people, and the whole
Marwan believed
train,
he had
I
no
think, should
choice
be
but to flee his
American
home
ones.
in Syria.
If you are forced into military service, they will put you on the front, either with ISIS or they will force you to kill your own people. You know?
Impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
But the outpouring of sympathy for refugees like Marwan was about to change. Public sentiment turned when it was claimed that terrorists responsible for the Paris attacks had entered Europe as refugees. Then, on New Year's Eve, hundreds of women were sexually assaulted by gangs of migrant men in the German city of Cologne. As Marwan made his way to Sweden, borders across Europe began to slam shut behind him.
I think Europe now is, at the door of a great change because of this huge influx that they had. But they always get the focus on the negative side of the refugees.
Yes, because I think understandably people are worried about terrorism.
Yeah.
They're worried about cultural
differences. Yeah. I don't know, they're always surprised when you tell them that, okay, I'm educated, I have a degree. You really have a degree? Yes, I have. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, I'm a human being, just like you.
Back in Greece, the new arrivals are at last setting foot on European soil. Most don't realise their ordeal has just begun.
So they would come from here, and they would come through our welcome sign.
At 26, Aisha Keller is in charge of 1,000 refugees in this camp on Lesbos, staffed entirely by unpaid volunteers.
As you can see, when you leave, you get this message.
Safe passage.
Safe passage.
That of course has changed now.
It has, unfortunately.
This was supposed to be a transit camp, a place where refugees could rest for a few days before moving on into Europe.
It's a very orderly queue.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But many have now been here for weeks, and for them, the island of Lesbos has become a prison.
They almost feel like there's no hope because Europe doesn't want them anymore, and they come here and they go, well, why? What am I doing?
If Greece has carried more than its share of the burden, so too has Sweden. A nation with less than half the population of Australia took in 165,000 refugees last year alone and is starting to buckle under the pressure.
This is a country that's barely coping. Only 6 months ago, Sweden was proudly proclaiming itself the humanitarian superpower of the world. Now it's closing its borders to refugees without identity papers. And its neighbours are being even tougher. Denmark is stripping asylum seekers of valuables to help pay for their upkeep, confiscating cash and jewellery, basically everything except wedding rings. The message couldn't be clearer. Please, no more refugees.
Is it refugee overload?
Yes, it's a refugee overload. That's a good word.
Just too many people?
Too many people, and too many people of the wrong kind.
Like many of his countrymen, Jan Hunnesson is calling time. This one-time school teacher and more recently political activist says Sweden is on the brink of an economic and cultural disaster.
The problem with a generous welfare state like Sweden is that we're very, very soft.
And this is an example, he says, of Sweden's too trusting acceptance of young refugees. Men posing as boys to claim special treatment.
This is an athlete, and he's called Sweden's fastest 14-year-old.
So he is said to be a 14-year-old?
Yes. It's a bit hilarious, but if you're 18 and above, you don't get the benefits that you get if you're under 18, and you can't be thrown out with the same kind of laws and force.
Will the generosity stop?
Well, if you call it that generosity to ruin your own country, yes, it has to stop, but I think we're still generous.
Have you seen your fellow refugee?
Yeah.
Let this side down.
Of course, you always have like really bad refugees. People who just take everything for free, who cannot wait, to take their chance.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating, but you got to keep strong. You got to do it for yourself and for your family. And I hope I'll be able to prove something actually.
For all its generosity, Sweden is now grappling with communities of disaffected migrants who can't find jobs and have few prospects. The country's image was shattered 3 years ago when riots broke out in the Stockholm suburb of Husby. There are now 55 declared no-go zones in Sweden where police have to escort ambulances to ensure their safety. And as we found out, the temperature is similar in the suburb of Rinkeby, home to mostly Somali migrants. Within minutes of us arriving, a group of young men make it clear we're not wanted and deliberately run down our cameraman.
Whoops! Nej men vad fan!
Hey, 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 hey.
Go on! Shit! What happened
You all right?
to your leg?
It's a little more hostile than I had anticipated.
Okay, welcome to Rinkeby. It's also called Little Mogadishu.
And is that what you're worried about for the future of Sweden? That clash, this clash?
Yes,
we
of
saw?
course. Now, one of your film crew members was run over by a car here, and it took us 1.5 minutes. So
Yes, we're literally just out of the car and
and
aggression.
they didn't have any reason to do that, did they?
No, well, definitely not.
We call the police.
To be honest, we hadn't anticipated such intense aggression. Our cameraman was
And even they fear their presence will be provocative.
I think it's better if you go in without us, because I think it would be...
very aggressive.
Yeah, if we're young. So we will stay here, and if it is...
That's fine.
You watch us.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Majority here are Muslims from East Africa, and they don't assimilate well into the Swedish culture and society, and they're unemployed, and they're poor. So you add all these factors together, and their youth are feeling marginalized and don't speak Swedish very well, so they don't get jobs or get into the Swedish youth culture either.
But not everyone is hostile.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my cousin lives in Melbourne.
Many locals are polite and friendly and happy to talk.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
But what happened next changed everything. The police leave, and as we prepare to go, young men masking their faces arrive.
Good, we're doing good.
You're doing good?
Yeah.
Okay, very
Always.
good.
Take it easy.
Okay, you too.
And attack.
Go.
Mate! Go! Don't you touch me! Okay, we're gonna drink.
Excuse me. Please, please.
Get out of here.
No, we are leaving, but you don't need to hurt us. There's no need to be unkind. Hey,
Can't feel.
don't
do it.
The gang's attention turns when a local intervenes and drives his mobility scooter into the most violent attacker.
Move. We've been individually attacked. Soundman has been punched, the producer's been punched, you've been run over, the cameraman. We've all been assaulted and insulted. It's best we leave.
For refugees like Marwan, the hostility and the changing mood in his adopted country make him uneasy about his future. There is a part of you that's fearful that you will be turned back.
Yeah, of course. You always have doubt. We're human beings. We always have doubt.
There are no easy answers, no simple solutions to this epic humanitarian crisis. But there are still plenty of people trying to help. Young men and women who could be leading comfortable lives, but who choose not to look the other way.
Everyone who's in this camp crossed from Turkey to Greece, and everyone who arrives says it's one of the most terrifying things they've ever done. They know what they're letting themselves in for. You don't let yourself in for that if you have a different option.
What do you feel when you're helping children on board? How do you cope?
Every day we have this experience. For me, for today, it's worse because yesterday I was a father, and today I look at the children in a different way.
It breaks your heart.
Yes, and now I'm a father. Oh my God.
Really breaks your
Look,
heart.
I'm shaking.
Yeah, I can understand. Do their faces stay with you?
Yes, it's every day like this.